Call halal Yahweh by Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai by Shem Kadash. Peace and power to the Father of lights and his beloved Son, to the throne of King David, to the sons and daughters and the elect of Israel. All praises due. Here's another installment, the daily edification brought to you through the Spirit and power of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, so I'm gonna show y'all. We already went through the promise, right? What he promised us. Now I'm going to show you what the Most High did, all right, to establish the promise, all right? Now we're going to talk about the process. What was the process, all right? So let's go on back. Let's go on back to 2 Chronicles chapter 7. Verse 14. That's what he said. If my people which are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. So let's see how things went in order. All right. Did we call on the name? Yes, we did. Did we humble ourselves? Yes, we did. Did we pray and seek his face? Yes, we did. Did we turn from our wicked ways? Yes, we did. Most of us anyway. Most of us. All right. Did he hear from heaven? Yes, he did. Did he forgive their sin? Yes, he did. And will he heal our land? Yes, he did. I want to concentrate on the last two. Right? Let's tie in forgiving their sin. All right. So up until that point, while we were learning, sin still wasn't forgiven, right? Now let's go to Zechariah 13:1 for forgiveness of sins. Zechariah 13:1. In that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and uncleanness. See there? Now let's go back to 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. All right. He says, I will forgive their sin and then I'll heal their land. So once we were established, okay? Once we were established, look at verse 15. Now mine eyes shall be opened and my ears attend unto the prayer that is made in this place. So we made a prayer into that place. We wanted the spirit and the visitation of the Father of lights himself, and we got that. Look at verse 16. For now have I chosen and sanctified this house, that my name may be there forever, and my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. So what did he do? He opened up the fountain. I can't tell you how many people laugh when I tell them this. All right. I told them, by this blood that's shed right here, you see this all, my arm don't even look the same. See it? See how lumpy it is? They stick me every other day. But that's the fountain. That's the blood. Because the leader of Israel is always the one that is responsible for bringing the sacrifice for the people for remission of sins. Let me get that. Let's go to Hebrews 9:22. And almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without the shedding of blood there is no remission. All right, so the shedding of blood has to accompany the leader. It's his job. And since Yahweh Shai raised the bar to human blood by his death, burial, and resurrection on the cross, that means that the next leader would have to shed blood too for the people. So right after that, all right, right after all right, right after we humble ourselves, and prayed and sought his face and turned from our wicked ways, he said, then we'll hear from heaven and will forgive their sins. I went into the hospital, right? Right after that. That was the mark. And I'm still shedding the blood. That's the fountain. I can't tell you how many people laugh at that, but they laughing. Meanwhile, they don't have no blood covering them. The scripture is clear. You ain't got to believe it. But it says what it says, and it means what it means. There, without the shedding of blood, there's no remission. So some blood got to be shed somewhere by a man that the Most High approves. Okay? And that's what happened here. All right? Now, that part's done. Now let's get on to how he did it. What did he say next? Let's go down the checklist. He says, then will I hear from heaven and forgive their sin. How? Through the shedding of blood. Then he says, I will heal their land. Let's take some, let me take a look. Let's all take a look at the events that happened. All right? Now, y'all could Google this along with me if you like, or you can just sit back and learn either way. Let's go to 2020. All right, let's go to 2020. All right, now, this is how he restores our land. He restores our land by taking down the previous country. Before I read this, let's go to that. Let's go to Psalm 70. Man, I always lose it. 74 or 75. For Moses, 75, all right? Psalm 75, verse 5. And then we'll go back to the what I Googled. Lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the north, nor from the, Salah. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, from the south. All right. Notice that the north is left out of there. But power is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. All right, read that again. He putteth down one and setteth up another. So, in order for him to raise another nation, he'll put the other one down first. Okay, this is how he restores our land. Now let's go on back. Google 2020 national debt. 2020. All right. And I'm going to read. In 2021, the U.S. national debt was approximately $28.4 trillion. This figure represents the total amount of money the U.S. federal government owes to its creditors. To increase in debt during 2021 was influenced by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and the government's response, including measures like the American Rescue Plan Act. All right. The debt limit, which restricts the total amount of money the U.S. government can borrow, was temporarily suspended in August 21, reaching $28.4 trillion. So, let me tell y'all something. Do you know what the threshold is? Okay, the threshold for the national debt is $36.1 trillion. That's called the debt ceiling. That means the government is froze after that. It can't print no more money. It can't borrow no more money. It's maxed out. It's like if you got a home, your house, like your house, right? It basically means you broke. It means you just spent your whole check on food, utilities, and a mortgage or rent, whatever you paying. Now you broke. You don't have no money. Your credit is a 355. You can't go nowhere and get no money. You just in the water. Well, that's where America is now at $36.1 trillion. They can't borrow nothing else. They're done. All right? But look, it didn't start that way. In 2020, all right, the U.S. national debt was at 26.9 trillion. All right. So they still had about $10 trillion that they could borrow or print money on, right? Now, let's go to 2021. The very next year, and the year that we were established. All right, let's go there. 2021 national debt. In 2021, the United States national debt was approximately 28.4 trillion, according to the U.S. Treasury fiscal data. This figure represents the total outstanding borrowing by the U.S. federal government accumulated over its history, according to the U.S. Treasury fiscal data. The debt increased significantly in 2020 and 2021 due to the pandemic and related economic relief measures. So, by them doing the booyah, that added to the national debt significantly. He started increasing the borrowing. All right, started increasing it. All right, now from that day, in 1 year, okay, in 1 year, they went from 26 to 28, 2 trillion in 2 years. That's $1 trillion a year. So America started at apex, and now it's starting to go down because it's getting closer to that debt line. All right. Now, let's go to 2024. In 2024, the total U.S. national debt, all right, this is 3 short years. In 2024, the U.S. national debt reached $35.46 trillion. Now remember, the threshold is 36.1. They're at 35.46. This represents an increase of $2.3 trillion compared to the previous year. The national debt is the total amount of money the U.S. federal government owes to its creditors. Okay? Now, let's hit 2025. All right. In 2025, the United States national debt is projected to be around $36.2 trillion. That's $1 million over the threshold. The debt limit, reinstated on January 2nd, 2025, is set at $36.1 trillion, according to Congress.gov. This includes $28.8 trillion in debt held by the public and a $7.3 trillion in intergovernmental holdings. The debt, as a percentage of gross domestic production, is around 121% in 2025. So the GDP is at 121%. All right. Now, I broke that down a few videos ago. You'll have to go back and search that out. I broke it down. What that means is it takes more money, in layman's terms, to run this country than his money had. So let's just say you had a house or an apartment, right? And You were used to paying for everything, right, with your check. Now, if you're at, I don't know, 80%, right? Let's just say your whole monthly bills, including your rent, your food, everything, right? 80%. If everything came to if everything came to, I don't know, $800, and your check is $1,000, you got $200 left in your pocket for yourself, right? That's 80%. So if you look at America, all right, if now let's go back to the analogy of the apartment or the house. If it cost you $1,000 and your check was $1,000, now you're at 100% of your GDP, right? Now, the United States has passed that. Let's just say America's bills came up to $1,000 a month, because you know they got bills too. America would need $1,200 a month. So not only do it take their whole check, they still $200 short. That's what the GDP is in layman's terms. So you drowning now. So every month you give them your whole check and it still ain't enough. Right? That's the deal. So America at 121% GDP, gross domestic production, means that even though America is taxing the shit out of everybody, taxing the rich, taxing this, they are still behind at the end of every month to pay their bills. This is how the Most High takes a country down. The same thing happened to Rome, same thing happened to France, same thing happened to all of these nations, okay, that got top heavy. And why is that? Because America does not budget its money correctly at all. They spend all this money on defense, all this money on missiles, that's why they're waging wars all the time, because that's their side hustle to make money, and it still ain't enough. Now look when this is coming though. And actually that from what I understand, that figure is wrong. The GDP now for the United States is at around $137 trillion. All right, 137. So it's well out of range of recovery. No nation that has reached the GDP, gross domestic production, of that level has ever recovered. Not one nation. So America is done. And look at the year, okay? Look at the year that America has maxed out. 2025. What is 2025? The year of Jubilee. Our year. That's how I know we getting released this year. America cannot continue. Now, what did Trump say? What did Donald Trump say? He said the American dollar is about to crash and there's nothing anybody can do about it. They're getting ready to institute Bitcoin and XRP, which is digital currency, from now on, which will be tracked via AI in real time. Meaning, they're going to track your purchases and tell you what you cannot spend your money on if you out here. This is where the chip is coming in. Now, the reason they start doing that, the minute we did that, all right, if you remember, they instituted the pandemic around 2020. But that very next year in 2021, after the Most High heard us, tell me, you tell me if you remember, did they not start going hard in the paint on the entire world? That's when they started drumming up everything, forcing you to get the booyah. Am I right? You tell me, you was there. A lot of y'all in here, you took the opportunity. I drafted a letter that I sent out to anybody that wanted one, free of charge, and told the U.S. government that you was part of this royal house. And I don't believe I got one report back where somebody, wait a minute, maybe one. Um, King Frankie in New York, he worked for a hospital. They was kind of hard-nosed about it. So he ended up quitting because they was hard-nosed. They didn't accept it. But mainly for everybody else, that letter that I wrote, everybody got one, and they was able to keep their jobs, right? Without getting the booyah. Now, but everybody else, man, France, Germany, Britain, Israel, I mean, all of these Canada, all of these countries, man, started getting, they drum people up and they scared them and fear-mongered them into getting that booyah. All right, they did it. So that was a very dark time for everybody. Everybody had to hold what they got and not get punked into taking that shit. And most of y'all in here, from what you tell me, did so. Most of you did it. Some of y'all, I believe, buckled, probably lying through your damn teeth. But for the most part, I know that many of y'all in here, you didn't do it, man. And all praises, you should give yourself 2 big pats on the back for that. All right? But what I'm saying is, this is when the Father of Light started taking this place down. It's all right there, recorded history. We got the dates and the receipts for everything I'm telling you. All right, this is how we know that the Most High, all right, had given us his covenant and his blessing. Period. All right, all you other fucking nerds been out here for 30, 40 years. Most High made no moves or nothing. Shooting. By the time I was 15, 16 years old in 1985, the national debt was at like $8 to $10 trillion. They still had shit, $100 trillion to go. But look how fast he sped shit up for shit to come crashing down in our Jubilee year. All right. Now, what else did he do? All right. The birthright citizenship. Let's hit that. What is the birthright citizenship? Well, the birthright citizenship means that it was never meant for these other nations, man. It wasn't. The birthright citizenship was for us. It was for the children of slaves. Let me see if I can get that video up. All right. It was for the children of slaves. So, meaning that if you were a slave, it established, it established you as a permanent resident here in America. That's what the birthright citizenship did. Only for the descendants of slaves, though. Nobody else. And what happened was during the civil rights movement, we do what we do best. We petition, and everybody else benefits. Okay. And then what happens once that happens? Once we petition and everybody else comes in, nobody looks after us. They all come in, take what's naturally ours, and then gives us a big fuck you. All right? That's what they do. So Trump already sent that straight, made that crooked straight. All right? Listen to what Donald Trump said.
File to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined. Thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. Hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves. And we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship.
Now, let me explain. Wrongly enjoined. Wrongly enjoined. Wrongly enjoined. Meaning, that was for us only. We was the ones that were slaves here. We was the ones got our ass beat, getting our backs opened up, beaten and raped and everything else. All right. So we're the ones, all right, that was promised to have the birthright citizenship because we've been here. But what happened? What they started doing? These foreigners come in. You got Mau coming in. You got fucking these other nations coming in. Northern Kingdom too, coming in from Mexico, Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, and all that other shit, right? Dropping babies on U.S. soil. That baby becoming a citizen through his quote-unquote birthright. And then the mama and daddy stay because he was born here or she was born here. Trump done deaded all that. This is why they hunting these motherfuckers down like Pokemon now and rushing them on out of here. That's why it's happening. Because he revoked it. He said the only one this is for the birthright citizenship. Did the Most High keep his promise? And all of this happened when? After the royal house was established. No niggas ain't finna get deported. No. Right? Now the only way you can is if you're a criminal. If you locked up in these penitentiaries, then yeah, they can deport you under the 14th Amendment. Slavery is abolished except for the convicted felon. You're no longer considered a citizen because you are a criminal, the same as the rest of the criminals. You're not abiding by the laws of the land, so you have involuntarily or voluntarily, whichever you want to name it, revoked your citizenship through the penal system. You're no longer a name, you're a number. So yeah, start seeing niggas get deported, yeah, they're gonna go after them. That's why they're forcing some of y'all that have been in trouble with the law. Notice he says that if you've been in trouble with the law, then you're gonna get drafted. Yeah, they can do that. But to the average law-abiding citizen, all right, especially if you have not received the booyah, you can't be touched, period. See? Because when you get booyah'd up, that makes you, there's serial numbers attached to that, y'all. There's a number attached to that. When you sign off on it, it's connected to your social and send in and they know who you are. They're not going to tell you that. You're just going to kick and scream and they're going to have every legal right to run your ass out of here. That's why. But what did he say? He said he's going to raise up the tents of Judah first. See, you can't just be any poop butt and call yourself Judah. You might be Judah by nationality, but you're not Judah by practice. All right? You're not Judah by practice. He said in what? In Second Chronicles chapter 7 and 14. You have to humble yourself and turn from your wicked ways. Then, so if you ain't humbled yourself, you still a rebel, you ain't turned from your wicked ways, then this covenant does not apply to you. So you know. Yeah. I ain't saying that no niggas are gonna get pulled out of here because they are. But which ones? Trump going after the lawbreakers. All right? Now, this is why I say you got to be part of the royal house in good standing in order to escape that. Now, this is what I'm waiting to see, y'all. I'm waiting to see some of these camps out there that got Latinos with them, and I'm waiting to see if ICE roll up on them. Because they still out here. Ain't a lot of them, but they still on these corners, these corner boys, all right, preaching that law of Moses. Let's see if the law of Moses prevails over ICE, all right? When these masked up ICE agents roll on you with them white vans, all right? And let's see if you quote them scriptures. Let's see if the Most High defend y'all with that, all right? I dare you. I dare you. Oh, yeah, they got Northern Kingdom out there talking shit. I'm Reuben, I'm gay. Yeah, y'all do that. Let's see when you out there, if ICE decide to roll on you niggas, all right, with Northern Kingdom in your ranks, let's see if he defends you. That's what I want to see. See, we ain't on the street. I told y'all long ago, all right? Corner boys, all right? Corners is for hoes. That's why you niggas out there. Ain't none of my people out on no corners doing shit. We do it right here. The house is for kings, right? Like I told you. Like I told you. All right? So yeah, I'm talking shit. Gonna keep talking shit. All right? The house got the covenant. All right? So, just so you know. All right? So, I'm going to clip this video right now, y'all. All praise to Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Peace and power to the Father, the Son, the throne, the elect, and the sons and daughters of Israel. More to come. All right? It's your king and shepherd, and I'm out. I salute you. See you in a minute. KD out. Shalom.